A former FBI lawyer is expected to plead guilty as part of a Justice Department probe into the FBI's investigation of the 2016 election and Russian interference. In an interview yesterday, Attorney General William Barr teased new developments in the probe. Barr also said he's mindful of the upcoming election and that he won't do anything, quote, inappropriate before it. Now, this is just one of two investigations the Attorney General has initiated that critics claim have some motivation tied to politics. The other is a probe examining how Obama administration officials used a routine intelligence procedure known as unmasking. Two law professors, including a senior prosecutor in the Mueller investigation, sounded the alarm in a recent op-ed for the New York Times. They nod to former FBI Director James Comey's handling of the Hillary Clinton email investigation in the days and weeks leading up to Election Day. Ryan Goodman joins me now. He's a co-author of that piece and a professor of law at New York University. Ryan, welcome. Great to have you with us. So let me first get your thoughts on the FBI lawyer who is expected to plead guilty.
So it is an important development in the Durham investigation that's being overseen by Bill Barr. And he kind of signaled this last night on Fox News, the Attorney General did, that there would be something happening today, which he said is, quote unquote, not earth-shattering, but is a development in the case. And that is an individual who is a lawyer in the investigation during the 2016 campaign appears to have falsified documents that misled his colleagues by including in the document the idea that Carter Page was, quote unquote, not a source for the CIA, when the opposite was true. Carter Page had been a source for the CIA. And so it looks as though he's going to be, he's pleading guilty to one count of a false statement to the government.
So, Ryan, it does appear the Attorney General will release information on the Durham investigation before November 3rd. What do you see as the biggest issues with these two investigations and the potential timing of their release?
So that was the other remarkable part of what Attorney General Barr said last night. He promised on Fox News that there would be, quote unquote, significant developments before the election, end quote. And that looks to be in direct defiance of a very long-standing DOJ rule against taking any kinds of public actions in the run-up to an election that could affect the election. And that's why Andrew Weissman and I wrote the piece to say, wait a minute, this is in fact something that Bill Barr himself said in his nomination hearing he would not do, because he rightfully criticized James Comey for having done just that in the run-up to the 2016 election. And Bill Barr in his nomination hearing rightfully said, that is not what we do in the Department of Justice. And it's too much power in the hands of an attorney general where they could try to disparage or damage the opposing political party. That's the reason that we've had this rule in place for so many administrations, Republican and Democratic administrations. And it's a very significant departure because it means that the Department of Justice is potentially interfering in elections, and we don't want any Department of Justice to have that kind of power in the run-up to the American voters getting to decide for themselves.
Right. And you say that this has been the generally held sort of ethical standard that, you know, both sides of the aisle have agreed to. But there is a counter argument that withholding whatever information is uncovered until after November 3rd is also, in effect, influencing the election by sort of withholding maybe information from the electorate. How would you respond to that argument?
So I think that one can try to reason through both of them, but the reason behind the rule, this kind of categorical rule inside the Department of Justice, is if you do that, then you're kind of leaving it up to any of these prosecutors in different parts of the Department of Justice to determine what they think the American public should know, and they can do it in a way where the responding side doesn't really have an opportunity to do anything. So if they issue a report or make an indictment, it's not as though we're going to have the trial the next day and the person can get their day in court to vindicate themselves. So that's the kind of awesome power that is otherwise placed in the hands of people in the FBI, people in the Justice Department, that the better solution seems to be the one that's been decided upon for decades, which is take no public action in the run-up to an election that it could affect the outcome of the election. And if there's an urgent matter that you could, why couldn't you just wait until after November 3rd, have it done in that climate, when in fact, there'd be probably a much less politicized climate, so that the American people can all look to it and think about what's being revealed here, because it doesn't have this kind of political inflection behind it, as though there might be something more corrupt in the way in which it's being placed on the ballot, in a certain sense, by people who are supposed to be career prosecutors, totally neutral in these kinds of matters.
Right. Ryan, also, in addition to the two ongoing investigations from the Department of Justice, Republican Senator Ron Johnson is leading his own probes. And one of those centers around presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden. The other is looking into the Obama administration. Now, the senator said that that would help President Trump's reelection chances. He actually said that. So what do you make of this admission?
I think it's just an incredible admission, unbelievable. Should make the headlines at the top of the page if it weren't for other things going on in the country. And he said that. He said that, quote, "It would certainly help Donald Trump win re-election," end quote, which suggests, doesn't even suggest anymore, I think. It just says that his effort, he knows his effort is in aid of helping the president get reelected. That's the kind of admission that seriously hurt the Benghazi investigations against Hillary Clinton, when one of the Republican members of the House said that they were very happy that it had hurt her poll numbers. And I think what's really revealing about Senator Johnson having said this is it undermines all the other Senate Republicans who have supported him, because he has also said recently that he knows that they are very worried that his investigation looks highly political. And something just to kind of bring together two parts of our conversation are, his investigation overlaps very significantly with Durham's investigation in the Justice Department. And it shows, in a sense, what this is all about, that this is something that could affect the election and support Donald Trump's reelection chances. In Ron Johnson's mind, he's actually admitting that that's part of the motivation here. In the Justice Department, I think, deference to them in a certain sense, which is not saying what their motivation is, but the rule in place is not to take actions that might affect an election. So I think we kind of need to look at both of these moving parts at the same time.
All right. Well, Ryan Goodman, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your insight.
Thank you.